The state of wrestling is back. Botch Wrestling Podcast. Been a couple weeks off, trying to get things aligned. How are we feeling about where we are now, Dan, in the wrestling entertainment, the wrestling field of what's going on? It's been quite a busy, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you would say?
Yeah, actually 3 weeks, right? For sure.
Yeah. Because we had a Saturday night main event. We had AEW's technically their WrestleMania. Would you call it? Right?
Yep.
I guess some would call it that. Some say no, but um, and then we had Clash in Italy, which surprisingly I thought was going to be terrible. It was actually very good. Um, so yeah, that should be interesting. To see where things go from there. Um, so um, but yeah, I guess where would you like to start? Because first of all, I had a question in regards to have you heard anything about Julia being done?
I haven't heard that, no.
Um so there's been some mixed things going around from what I heard at work on various podcasts and the way home. She put out a tweet that said, "I love wrestling. I love stepping into the ring and fighting. I feel sensations I don't know how to describe. It brought me back here to Italy where I found a magnificent audience that has given me an extraordinary experience and impressive affection. Thank you so much." So there's been a few podcasts that are saying this is her saying goodbye.
That sounds like it for sure, but
Like, what is
I haven't
happening?
seen that.
What is happening with that women's division? Like, it, hopefully, like, she was just excited to be back. But once again, like, if this was her goodbye match, it happened against Io. She lost to Io, and Io is the same one that that end up retiring Asuka for the time being. So if that's the case, um, I'm I'm like not look. I think we talked about this an episode or two ago about of like what superstars leaving would kind of get you a little bit shocked and nervous. I'm getting a little bit concerned for the women's division
Yeah. I mean,
because
and it's funny because I was, I was ready to talk about how maybe they took a slight step forward over the weekend. But yeah, if this is like, if she's gone, like, yeah, what are we doing? Like, what is this?
yeah. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully she just loved being back in Italy and that's um what they're doing. The other headline I wanted to discuss um Tony Khan might be doing an AEW show during WrestleMania weekend when WrestleMania is in Saudi. Did you see that come up?
I actually didn't see that, but um
So
that,
Cage Side seats have it. Tony Khan promises to run a huge event in AEW when WWE is doing WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, it's not the worst idea, and it's right. It's the stateside version of, look. It's the most popular weekend of wrestling of the year, and we want to be attached to it somehow, right? It's like all how all the small promotions do a show in the area. Now they're not doing that in Saudi Arabia, I'm sure, right? They're not all going over there to do it. So he actually could be the attraction with all the little guys all around him, right? Like, and with that, you know, he could pull from those areas and have some fun little appearances and run-ins or matches, right? Like if he does it right, it could be very interesting, and it could be a good option for people who, because what the Saudi Arabia show is going to start at what, 2 o'clock, 1 p.m.
Yeah, I think that's what it did last time, right?
I don't know if they'll push it a little bit to try to, you know, um, to try to make sure they capture. But if it's, more people here, like, well, actually, I don't know. This is saying that they might start at 1 a.m. local time, which would be 6 p.m. here. So then that changes what I was going to say. But if they did that, but if not, and you've got a 1 o'clock show, if I'm Tony, yeah, I'm putting my show on for 7 or 8 o'clock at night because people can watch WrestleMania and then show up at your show. Why not? I mean, hell, you could throw a watch party and then say, everybody come here.
Yeah, he was asked about it, and he says, "I have a lot of interest in it. I can promise we're gonna run a huge event in the spring of 2027. I think spring of 2027 is gonna be a great time for AEW. We're still gonna be in the peak of the massive media deal that we've done with Warner Brothers Discovery, and absolutely, there's gonna be a huge pay per view for sure. And one pay per view I can tell you is gonna be huge in the spring of 27. That has done huge things for us in AEW." We'll have a huge revolution. That's already done. The event's already done some major things when you look back. Case in point, that's where Sting retired in 2024.
Right, right.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is the smart business ideas, like we've said, that he needs to show he can do, right? Like, if they give you an
Yeah.
opportunity to walk in the door, then kick the door down. And that's kind of like if he puts on a great show like he did for Double or Nothing, and that's what it ends up being for this springtime. Like, because there's already blowback on I'm not watching WrestleMania 2027 because it's in Saudi, right? There's been a ton of it's not technically WrestleMania if it happens over there type thing, right? Like, they've done that before, or they've talked about it before. It's been going on nonstop. It's not gonna ever stop. Some people are just pissed that it's happening, and that's what happens, right? So it's like, what can you do then if you're them? You know what I mean? You're kind of stuck. Like, but it's a smart idea.
Would be very smart. And if it really is going to be like a 6 p.m. Eastern start time or whatever, if I'm him, then I do it like how NXT would, and I have a 1 o'clock show, but I throw an absolute banger of a show together, right? And we've always said it. They always do their pay-per-views pretty well, but like I throw a major show together with a 1 o'clock start time. If anything, you're going to tire them out for WrestleMania. You put that good of a show on, and people are going to be like going into WrestleMania kind of on a low, right? Or coming off a high, right? So, like, and then they'll be kind of like, and then WrestleMania's got pressure to perform. And who knows? You know, the Saudi crowd is not an exciting crowd anymore.
No, they're boring.
You know, they
They've been
used to
for
be
the
exciting, but now they're not. And like, what I don't know what they're doing for WrestleMania, but for that last show, right? Like, um in Riyadh, like wasn't that that stadium they put up together in 10 days or whatever the hell it was. What was that? Only like 25,000 people or something? It was pretty small, right? So, on top of, they used to have those big huge crowds and they went nuts, and now it's like they're quiet, but also it's 1 a.m. in the morning, so they're tired.
Yeah. Um. So I've never thought the Saudi crowd was good. When do you think the last Saudi crowd was good then, from your point of view?
I'm thinking like I'm thinking like some of the first couple, maybe the first Crown Jewel or like whatever the Super Show,
Gotcha.
like
The
I'm talking like Undertaker, Lesnar, right? Like, so we're talking years,
like the
right?
brothers of destruction versus DX for the
Even
final
before
time.
that, right? Even before that, though, I think because that was like, hey, let me just look at something while I'm saying this, but like that was even not even that was like
Yeah.
maybe the second or third big show.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, the Greatest Royal Rumble was the first one, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. That was the one where it was like 50 people in it. Um, so the first Crown Jewel. Oh no, you're right. That was DX, the Brothers of Destruction. That was the first one, but I don't know if that's the one I'm thinking of. I think I'm thinking of like either maybe the first Super Showdown, which was Undertaker and Goldberg, right? They had one, or Crown Jewel 2021, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and Bray Wyatt, which we hate locally, right? Because that was when Goldberg squashed the Fiend, and it was like, what are you doing? But those crowds back then, it was brand new, right? Like the Greatest Royal Rumble was the first pay per view there, and it was in 2018. Crown Jewel was later that year in 2018. Those crowds were huge because they were at the the big huge stadium they had, right? Uh, and since then, it really hasn't been,
Yeah. I wonder how much of it is the fact like they always get very giddy for Goldberg and Taker and DX. Like that seems to be the fan favorite over there. So it's like so now that that's not happening anymore.
right?
Like do they not have excitement? You know what I mean? Like is
Well,
it
remember the 2019 Crown Jewel was Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury, and it was supposed to be Lesnar and Cain Velasquez. Remember that?
yeah, and then Kane got arrested
So
for
like,
protecting his family. Yeah.
right. So and then they had the Fiend and Seth Rollins. Um,
Yeah.
so and actually I think too, like that they did have Natalia and Lacey Evans, so they had women fighting on that one too. But I I kind of remember that one being like a bigger deal, and also it was in a stadium that seats 70,000 before you put chairs on the ground, right? So
Right.
they had a WrestleMania size crowd, I think, and they had Hogan and Flair there too. I think. Remember Hogan and Flair were like coaches, I think, right? Like that
Yeah.
was the whole thing. So they pulled out all the stops on that show, and so that's what I'm talking about. We're talking like 2019.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just never been a fan. Like it's cool that it's going international and a lot of the things they are able to do from being able to do that show help pan out for future international shows. For instance, the whole week in Italy now, and then I think they're in France following this. Um, so that's cool, but I yeah, it's interesting. I guess it is interesting. In other news, did you see Vince McMahon has been sanctioned in his lawsuit?
Yeah, along with his son-in-law, daughter, and former whatever Nick Khan's title is.
Yep. How you think this is going to play out for them, Dan?
I mean, if from what I read, if I read it properly, and I don't have any real experience in this side of the law, but if I read it properly, those five things that they hit them with are now automatically admitted as being considered accurate
Mhm.
because they destroyed the evidence to prove or disprove it.
Right. Yep. Yep,
So,
yep, yep. Do you think this affects the deal at all? Cuz I feel like there's some shady stuff that's gone in with the deal that maybe this is going
um,
to bring some things to light.
I mean, I think it always could. I think it also could, certainly could accelerate a real settlement, like a big settlement, right?
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, he's already
I
paid
mean,
what to the SEC? I think they said about 1.5 to 2 was what the allegations were.
yeah, I think so. I think so.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah, so the official quote is the court now operates under the assumption that the five potentially damaging statements are true while allowing defendants to rebut them, but they're entered as being considered true, and there's no way for Vince's team now, his legal team, to disqualify that evidence in trial. They have to try to beat it at trial instead of getting it thrown out ahead of trial. So they screwed themselves. And it's going to be up to a jury, right? Of just like, do you believe testimony over proof that these messages either didn't exist or existed, right?
yeah. Yeah, he just can't get out of his own way. Like, it feels like.
No,
And, like, there is
it's going
some
to be bad.
real chatter online the past couple of weeks of, like, with how bad WWE was, of, like, hey, it would be better if Vince came back, right? And now it's like, well, would it really be better? Like, so, and our boy Mick Foley debuted at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I mean, I think it's good for AEW just because it's a good name, it's a good guy, it's a lot of history there that they can lean on even outside of WWE, and
Especially
you
creatively,
know,
right? Like for
right,
somebody with
right,
Darby, like I would put him and Darby in the same room all day and say pick his brain, like just pick his brain, Darby,
you know,
because you got to
um,
think they're probably seen as the same type of wrestler, right? Like they're like if they're just walking down the street and you've never seen Mick Foley before, it's not like he gives off the appearance of a professional wrestler.
right,
And it's the same thing as Darby, right? Like they're both guys that have always been counted out. So it's like, you know,
yep,
uh,
yeah. I mean, I think it's good, and I was watching his a clip from an interview he had, again talking about why he chose to distance himself with WWE and the politics, but like he's very even keeled about it, right? Like he's very serious about why he chose to disassociate for now. But he also said, I'm also not gonna like track them either. Like it's just not for me right now. They don't hold the values I hold. And so at this point, I'm not going to be associated. And that's all he'll say. And that's great. And now he's going to be a good asset for another company or multiple other companies because Tony's not going to make them exclusive. necessarily. So he'll show. Well, he already has been showing up a little bit for fun in some independent scenes, right? Like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, he's been a
It's good.
big yeah. Yeah, he's been been on quite the tour since his like not his retirement post, but his I'm stepping away from WWE post. I don't know if you saw, but I guess he was asked about it, and he said there was a phone call from somebody high up in WWE after he announced he wouldn't be associated with the company anymore. And the first call was, "I respect your stance, and I'll tell people in charge." Then I did receive a call from someone really high up. I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, but he was saying, "Well, Paul Levesque is just on the physical fitness group they have, and Linda hasn't worked for WWE in X amount of years." And then Foley replied saying, "Well, theoretically that's the case, but I could have sworn I saw Paul behind the president's shoulder when he was making a policy. And whether Linda's been working for the company or not, her last name is McMahon. She's associated with the company." And then I said, "Come on, 5 people in the Oval Office took the stunner," which he's correct.
Yeah.
And so he appreciated it. He did say he respected it. I didn't close the door forever. I said in my announcement, as long as this man is in office. I think more and more people are realizing that some of the things he's doing are just cruelty for the sake of cruelty and enriching himself.
Hmm.
So obviously they won't come out publicly and say anything about it, right? Like,
No,
so
they'd be stupid too anyway.
right,
They'd be
just
real. They'd be really dumb
let it
too.
die right here if
Let it
that's the
die.
case.
And if anyone asks, you just say, "Look, we respect Mick Foley. He's a legend in his own right. Right? Like he's
Yep,
always welcome."
yep.
And
He's in the Hall of Fame
right,
for reason and blah 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 and yep.
right, and he has a right to his opinions and feelings, and that's fine. You know.
Yeah,
But they
agreed.
don't really do. They really don't do press conferences anymore, so they'll never get asked that question.
No, but it'll be funny. You know who I'm waiting to hear get asked that question if he ever comes back to the show is Punk, because I think Punk would give a true answer on it, right?
Yeah.
Like I think he would be the perfect one to ask on the WWE roster. Hey, what do you think about this? And see what he says.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let's get to the wrestling. What should we talk about, Dan? Did you watch Double or Nothing? Did you watch AAA? What do
I
we?
did.
What are we talking? What's I guess with all that's been going on in the last 3 weeks of wrestling, what's your favorite? What's been your
Oh,
favorite of everything? Because I think I
I
already
mean, I did.
spoiled mine to yours earlier, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did watch Double or Nothing. I ordered it back and watched it not live. I watched it again or
yeah,
after the fact. But I thought it was really good. I really did. I thought it was really good. But that, you know, we knew that about their pay-per-views. So now it's, continuing to watch, and catch up weekly and see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, it's a really good show. Long as usual, but
yeah.
you
You
know,
have to set aside
still really good.
9.5 hours
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually like I pulled up the card again just to kind of refresh a little because it was like whenever it was a week ago that I watched it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 matches, I think,
Including
including,
pre-card stuff.
with the
Yeah.
pre-show. But still, 12 matches is a lot in a day,
Well,
you know.
and another parking issue that all those people couldn't get back to their vehicles because everything was closed. I sent
Hmm.
our group the screenshot, so I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know how you work out a deal for that stuff to stay open. I just that never crossed Tony's mind.
Yeah. So, I mean, I gotta say, I did not watch the whole AAA show, but I did watch the uh, Grande Americano match. versus mask match,
Yep.
which we briefly discussed. Like, I will say that was amazing for sure. I did not watch the whole card, so I won't claim to know
No,
how
that's
the
fine.
rest of the card went, but I could imagine it was very good too. But I ended up watching that mask match. Jesus. And then yeah, Double or Nothing was up there. And Clash at Italy, okay, wasn't bad.
Wasn't it better than
Actually,
what you thought it was going to be?
it was better than what I thought,
I
for
think that's
sure.
huge. I think that's huge for
It
that international crowd.
Yeah. There's a couple of things well, at least one I'm disappointed in. Well, two really, but which I'm sure is pretty common. But it definitely was better than it was, and it wasn't bad. It just ran a wrong it unfortunately ran into
A
the wrong
buzzsaw.
timeline because Double or Nothing and AAA were crazy. But I will say I thought Raw was a great follow up to it too, though.
Well,
So
and the last half hour of Raw on Netflix, they played
yeah,
that AAA match.
right,
So if you think about it, this was the
right.
perfect.
Which is why I rewatched it. Ended up rewatching it too because I saw that when I was
Yeah.
watching Raw, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna rewatch it
And
because it was that good.
Michael Cole talked about it at least 12 different times.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, I think they obviously were smart enough to know, like, holy crap, this like caught on like
yes.
fire, but this was even better than we thought, and we already knew it was like
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, AEW's PLEs this past year, I think have been my favorite pay per views in a while. Um, I think my last favorite WWE pay per view was when Sammy turned on Roman, or when we had all the surprises when
Yep.
Cody finally beat Roman at Mania. Um, but AEW's been killing it on the PLEs. But that mask versus mask match jumped to the top of my favorite matches of all time. It surpassed the Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio match that I could just put that on in the background, not be paying attention to it, and I could tell you everything that happens in that match.
Hmm.
It's just that mask versus match was phenomenal. And did you see who the producer of it was?
Butch,
Yeah, Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne.
Pete
Yeah.
Dunne's out there producing matches now, which is wild. Uh, they also had the involvement of uh Grande Americano's girlfriend in the first row, which
Yep.
begs the question: are we thinking WWE leaked that story in regards to the arrest for the AAA purposes? Now that they had her in the show right away, because I haven't seen
I'd be
m- m-
I'd be more
mugshot
willing
at
to
all.
bet it was the other way around,
Because of that, they threw her in
where
the front row.
it happened, and they were like, oh, we got to capitalize on this because I mean, if it ends up being, if the secondary rumor after the first rumor of it happening, if the secondary rumor is true that the dude that he hit,
Shouted out
was,
ice.
yeah, whatever he was saying,
Yeah.
like, I think they capitalize on that part to be like,
Hey,
oh well,
look.
she's
Yep.
already going to be a sympathy figure, and they're just going to love her that
Yep.
she's out here.
Yep.
So,
Agreed.
um, yeah, I mean that was just good. I mean, even like I'm like scrolling through a couple of things, and like, one of the tweets is the just replaying El Grande Americano's entrance with the cowboy hat and the jacket and stuff, and it's like it just was just so good. It really was just so good. And the
Yeah.
ending,
It's the perfect
and then the
storytelling. It's
right,
everything.
the unmasking. Also, the color of that mask with all that blood after, like it looked like it was just black. I
Correct.
mean, soaked with blood.
Correct.
But yeah, I'll be really interested to see though what's next with like. Chad Gable and Kaiser continuing on in this role. Like it'll be really interesting to see what they put or what they do.
Yeah. um, and AAA is going to a 2-night format starting in September, I believe, for their version of WrestleMania, the AAA Mania.
Right.
So that's gonna be awesome. Um, yeah, I mean it's. I'm trying to think when this last week and a half in wrestling that we've had. Has this been the best week of wrestling ever? If you think of what it encompassed across every different company.
It's possible. It's possible. It's got to be up there. It's hard for me to say ever just without thinking deeper into
Yeah.
like
What
somewhere
WWF and
back there. But
WCW had
I
going on?
guess the other problem is like that it's still just different now, right? Because the only time you're going to compare it to is during the Monday Night Wars,
Yep.
and you really only had the two companies. Now it's you've got the juggernaut, but then you've got these smaller but very popular promotions, right? That in AAA's case, the juggernaut is funding, but like AAA, AEW, WWE, um, but they were all hitting in different ways for sure. They all hit in very different ways.
um yeah, I agree. It's just wild what's happened this week. And did you catch the intro video for Jericho's team in the Stadium Stampede match?
Yeah,
That intro video of all of them just coming around backstage was hysterical. Hysterical. And it seems like everybody's back in love with Jungle Boy now. Like it,
yeah,
right? Like, so it'll be
yeah.
interesting.
I mean, the
I'm,
stuff is cyclical, right? Like you know,
yep.
time heals all wounds, and you know the way they do everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
the scapegoat no more, I guess.
Yeah. And that match was 31 minutes and 15 seconds. It's a big match. I guess to close out the AEW card, congratulations to Cage and Cope getting the titles. Um, there's a rumor that FTR is back on the way to WWE. So is Enzo and Big Cass, because WWE, I guess, has an initiative to build the tag team division. Like they just didn't fire the two best tag teams probably in the world, or two of the top 10 best tag teams in the world. I don't know, 2.5 weeks ago. So that's interesting. Because if you're telling me FTR is the group that you want, and you're telling me over Motor City Machine Guns and the New Day, I'm starting to question if you're actually paying attention to what the fans are saying.
Right.
And I think if that's the case, I think FTR, like Aleister Black, is gonna rub people the wrong way. Um, with them jumping ship to go back to WWE now. Does Dak still do his podcast? Do you know? I was gonna try and tune in to see if he
I
says
don't
anything
think
about it.
so. I don't think so.
And I guess the other thing to mention, what good is it giving MJF the title back from Darby?
Yeah, I don't know. Couple of weird decisions. There's a couple of sore thumbs in all of these shows, I guess. Well, I guess I can't
It
speak for
yeah,
AAA, but
I
like
mean,
a couple of sore thumbs in all of them in different ways, and we'll
I
get
just
into it with Flash. But
yeah, I guess I just don't understand the logic of it. Like if you're telling me on that 12 batch card, I'm telling you that Darby was the MVP of that card.
right,
Like he deserved to keep that title. Um, that's why it doesn't make sense. I guess another follow up that I had for you too. have you been catching or in your process of catching up? Um, what is what is Moxley's stable called again? It's slipping my mind.
Death Death
Death Riders.
Riders.
Have you been? Have you seen or caught up on Will Ospreay joining them?
I haven't caught up on it. I knew it happened, but I haven't caught up on
How
all of
they like
that. But
showed up to
yeah,
protect him?
yeah,
What are your thoughts?
yeah,
Because I think this could get very like I think this could get almost bloodline esque where they have the right people there to go basically take every belt in AEW.
yeah.
And I think the
Yeah,
fans would be okay with it based on who's in that group.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I think there's big possibilities there, and it's like a good switch up for Osprey,
Yes.
right? Like it's a real good switch up, and it's different, because they've spent a few years, and I know he's been injured on and off a couple of times in that, but they've spent a few years just kind of rehashing some of his old stuff, right? Kenny and all the guys from New Japan and stuff, and that's fine. But this is different now, right? And this gives you more, I think, options, right? And and possibilities. And yeah, I think you're right. Like it could be an incredibly dominant faction
For a
that they
while if they
could
wanted to. For a
they
while.
right. And they could have a lot of fun with that.
Um yeah, it's at first I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on here? But but then I was sitting down thinking about it and I'm like, this isn't a bad idea. Um this isn't a bad idea. But yeah, so that's on Wednesdays. They're gonna have a tough upcoming month and a half with the NBA Finals and the World Cup games on Wednesday night. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see how that affects their viewership. So something to keep an eye on. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's great, man. Go watch it. And the creative freedom that Tony gives John to do with the Death Riders, I don't think he's ever coming back.
I don't think so either.
I like he seems to like even when he's showing up at these house shows as like support. Like he's
Yeah.
showing up in his character with the sideways hat, the work boots that are untied, his hands are taped, right? Like you almost will wonder, does he dress like that when he's taking his daughter to the grocery store? Like he is that in character. Um so yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I, I mean, I would love him to come back. I don't think we need a Shield reunion. I would just love to hear the Lunatic Fringe song hit. And it would be good if like Seth had to bring somebody back to help. He brings back John. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. So watch AEW people if you can. Wednesdays 8 to 10 been great. The show flies by because they don't do a lot of backstage stuff. It's kind of half the time spent on that, I would say, and they get 5 to 6 batches in usually, so that'll be good. But now WWE stuff. Anything important to talk about from the Saturday night main event that we had? You think, Dan, or no?
I didn't think so.
No, because it kind of just was the same buildup in the Clash in Italy, right? What did you say? Like
Yeah, but
throughout that
Saturday
time
night's
frame?
main event, they've been kind of,
Yeah, they've been kind
I don't
of
know.
lackluster for sure. Um,
Yeah. Like I don't know what they were thinking with some of these, but you know,
correct. 100% agreed. So what are we? Yeah, I mean, Clash in Italy. Um, Much better than we thought, right? Um,
overall, yeah, I think for sure. It felt like it could be a throwaway, and it definitely isn't a throwaway.
and I've been shitting on this person for the longest time, so I gotta give them credit. Which I don't know how much credit that they deserve for this. Jade looked 1,000 times better in the
Yes.
ring.
Yes.
I don't know how
Yeah.
much of that is Rhea beforehand telling her this is what we're gonna do, but um, yeah,
I agree. It's hopefully just a good step in the right direction. Um, we'll see.
well,
We'll see. But I agree.
and she
This
was,
was
yeah,
this was her best match of her WWE career. Maybe her career in general, but certainly of her WWE career.
and it looked like she was able to use her athleticism out there too, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like like it wasn't just she got like caught up or something, or like the lights were too bright. She was able to show she was an athlete. Um, so kudos to her for that. I wanted to start off by saying that because I know I'm the first one that shits on her a lot. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Dan? What would you have done differently? Because you said there was a couple of like hiccups throughout this week of wrestling. So what are your hiccups when it comes to this match, or sorry, when it comes to this card?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, the biggest one I think is I just think the Brock Ova like result is the terrible. I think it's the absolutely wrong result. I think you let Oba kick out and stand back up from 5 or 6 F5s, right? One of them through a table. And the one through the table, which was what, maybe the fifth one or the sixth one, like at what, a 7 or 8 count, he pops up like he just walked out of the backstage area for the beginning of the match,
Yeah,
right? So you are just this whole time, you are just booking him as this like incredible specimen that he is. Like nothing can truly take him down, and then he still loses. And I just thought in my head, like I still assume that they're working towards retirement and SummerSlam for Brock. And I don't see why you don't do, instead of doing this traditional 3 match 1-1 going into a third match, why you don't just do a Cody Seth thing? Let Brock go 0-3 and retire, right? Like let Oba beat him. Maybe you let it be a little bit closer,
mm-hmm,
but you're booking him as like nobody has ever done this to Brock, right?
right.
Like, or not done this. Nobody has ever.
No, it's
Well,
true.
maybe
That's what
Cena.
they said.
Cena, right? Cena's the only one who has endured maybe that kind of punishment. Wasn't it Cena that took like the 23 suplexes, right? Cena was the beginning of Suplex City, right? Like
Yeah,
I can't remember if he won or not, but like back then. But you let Ova, he's only probably the second person to take that kind of punishment and keep getting back up and doesn't win the match. And to me, I don't see what's wrong with letting him win again and having Brock be so incensed that he comes out and he says, "That's it. SummerSlam, I beat you or I'm done." Right? Because I cannot go 0-3. Has Brock ever gone 0-3 against someone in his career? Probably not. you know, I don't know. Maybe Roman. I'd have to look, but like,
no, it's not Roman because he at least beat Roman once or twice.
or stupid Goldberg probably, but like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, and maybe he did early in his career, but like the Brock we know probably has never gone 0-3 against anyone like this.
right.
And so to me, the Brock winning was the wrong call. I just didn't understand that at all, especially with the way you let Oba be booked. Like nobody takes 6 F5s or seven seven F5s. I'm looking now. Nobody takes 7 F5s and pops up the way he did and kicks out the way he did all those times, and then you don't let him win. So that was my big thing. I just didn't like that ending. The other one, I don't understand Cody winning. Like I wouldn't have done this match because I guess I understand Cody winning from a long term perspective, but at this point, I just don't understand Cody winning against the guy who's retired all these people and choked them all out and all that stuff. And now here's Cody and he wins. Like, and if your plan is eventually to let Gunther win, I guess I just wouldn't have had this match here, you know?
Yeah,
So, but that to me, that's less egregious than the Brock one. The Brock one, I think, is like egregious. The Cody one is just like more of like a, yeah, here we are. Like QB1 gets the win, but I don't know. I didn't love that either. So for me, it's all the storyline stuff. The matches themselves, mostly good, pretty good. You know, happy with some of the other outcomes. Happy for Sol Ruka, right? Happy that Jade has a good match and Rhea still retains. I think that's fine. And now, not really sure where the Charlotte thing is going. Is this a lead up to her just turning on Rhea and you're going to get that again? Or is Charlotte and Jade going to do a thing for a while? Like, I'm not sure which way they're going. Maybe they're going to go both ways with that. Um, I assume Ova and Brock are not done.
no,
And then, yeah, and then, I mean, you get to tribal combat, and that was really good. And then I think leading that into Raw, I'm interested to see how they're going to do this now.
for sure. Um, we had similar points. I think just a different perspective on it. I agree with the Oba getting thrown through the table thing. I myself was thinking that is probably not how they wanted Oba to pop up. Like they wanted Oba to pop up probably, but I'm guessing they may have wanted him to pop up a little bit like dinged up, but showing
Yeah.
Brock he could still get up. So I was wondering if that was just maybe Oba being too young under the bright lights. Um Also my concern with Brock and Oba is, are you okay if it's just a standard match for the third time? Like, do you think that'll be okay with the fans, or do you think that feels repetitive? Because there's been a
I
lot of chatter of they got to do something else now between the two of them, and I
I
don't.
don't think to me
Yeah,
it doesn't matter because I think it's just a spectacle, the two of them, right? Because they're just these huge beasts in general, right? Like no pun intended, but like so I think you don't have to have it. But see the thing is like I guess then I'm wondering like what stipulation, like yeah, you do like whatever, no DQ, falls count anywhere, but like that doesn't really matter too much. And then like a cage, I don't know that a cage adds anything for them,
I don't either.
right? Like, they're not, they're just big, huge guys. So, like, stipulations, you got to be careful, I think, with some of that. I mean, maybe you can do a street fight or the no, whatever, no DQ, no count out or whatever. But, all that does is just give them a little more leeway to go fight in the crowd for a while and maybe run backstage a little bit and then come back out to the ring. So to me, that's not a big deal.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel on it, right? Because I think 90% of it's gonna be what's the build up to it. Um. Granted, they're only in the ring for 6 to 7 minutes, so it's
Right.
not really that big of a, like, it's not taking a huge portion of the show to where you need that part of it. So I think if they do it again the same way, I think both guys will be ready. I think a large portion is of um like the build up. What are they gonna say to each other, right? And the final thing I would change about that is when Oba was there in the ring at the end of it and Brock was saying 1 plus 1, I would have had Oba stand up and still grab his arm, not sit in the corner, and basically tell Brock, "Yeah, you got me this time. You pinned me. However, I'm not dead. I'm still coming for you."
Right.
Instead of having him do it after he wins the first round King of the ring match. Because then I feel like you lose a little bit of that build going 24 hours and him finally calling Brock out. Because then it's like this guy's supposed to be the destroyer of all destroyers, and he had to take a 24-hour break to have enough energy to call out Brock again. That right? Like that doesn't make sense. Like so,
Right.
I agree there is some faults there. I think one of them may have been Oba being too young, um, but that'll come with time, I think. But I was getting concerned because he wasn't able to throw Oba completely around with the F5. He only got him like a third of the way, and then it looked like Oba kept landing on like the side of his shoulder or his collarbone. So I was like
Yeah.
concerned that his Brock got tired and the TRT was starting to show in his face because he was turning purple. That like, was he going to be able to get Oba up to make it clean? Because we've seen athletes get hurt by that, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
case in point, not that it was an F5, but there's reports out there that based on what Braun Breaker was involved with, Braun Breaker may be hurt again.
Yeah.
So it's like it could be the smallest thing that sidelines somebody for 12 to 18 months. Um I still think I would have put that show on first. Cuz I would have treated
Yeah.
it like a carnival. I would have said here's the two beasts, they're going at it, and get everybody in their seats, right? I didn't have a way with or I didn't have a preference on how the card was set up. I thought it was okay, but I feel like that one should have been first again. Putting Cody on first with the belts of all belts feels kind of disrespectful to the belt to me. I know
Yeah.
this. I know it's you either want to be first or you want to be last, but if that's supposed to be the belt of all belts, and you have that carnival type match on there, I just would have put Brock on first, just for the purpose of the crowd. I think you would have got everybody like more on pins and needles in their chairs, waiting for Brock to come out, waiting for
Right.
Oba to do a strut, right? Like, not that the crowd wasn't white hot for Cody, but I thought you would have got a more intense reaction if that's how you build it. Trying to think, what was the other thing? Yeah, kudos to Jade on how great she looked in the ring. Um, I would have wanted to see Charlotte and Jade 2 to 3 years ago. I don't know if Charlotte has the speed anymore to look competitive with the Jade that we saw this past weekend. Because that's the Jade we've been hearing about for years, that everybody's been seeing at the NXT performance facility. That's the Jade that everybody sees bounce up off the ropes and picks up everything in the gym and is a just stud athlete. Her confidence looked on 1,000 last night, so hopefully that continues. Trying to think what else. I'm surprised that they gave Soul the championship this early, but I do think that's because they're going to make Becky go into the ring.
Do you think
Yeah,
that's why?
but then if that's the case, I don't want to see Becca versus Rhea.
Right.
I have no interest, and I have no interest in Becky versus Liv either. I don't. That doesn't sell anything to me. Um, I think this Queen of the Ring thing might be Becky's farewell for a bit because she talked about that a little while ago about how she's closer to the end than the beginning and she wants to spend more time with her daughter, and she's been posting a lot about that on Instagram. So I could definitely see like her winning Queen of the Ring, takes a shot at the title, gets beat, and then she steps away for a bit. But then, based on how we started this podcast, that's my concern. If they're dropping athletes like Julia, like what are we doing? I haven't seen Jordan Grace on a PLE. on a main roster PLE. And if you're telling me
Wow.
that's if you're telling me that it's Soul Ruka is ready, there is no way Jordan Grace isn't. She was the TNA knockout champion. She was the main person on that roster for years. She even
Right.
wrestled Penta, I think. So it's
Yes, I think so. I think you're right.
I don't know why we're holding her back. I don't just let her run crazy through people. Um, I think there are some issues with Cody and Gunther. I think the issues are the moment Gunther tapped out Cena, he should have been strapped to the back of a spaceship and shot straight into the stars. I think WWE missed their opportunity to push that. They did it where he came
Yeah.
out. He didn't say anything on a SmackDown, right? He just came out, laughed at the crowd, and then kind of dropped the mic and walked away or something
Hmm.
like that. So, yeah, I think that falls on WWE for not doing their part. Like, it just, that's just kind of what it feels like. And I don't know if that's creative. I don't know if that's everybody hurt, but like he went through AJ, he went through John, he went through Goldberg. Supposed to go through Rey Mysterio, but Bray broke his ribs at AAA. So it's like, what are we doing here? Um, I guess. And what were your thoughts on Tribal Combat?
I thought it was good for sure. I thought it was, I mean, it was a long match. It was a good match. I thought the ending, right? Like, you know, like post match stuff, we're teasing what's going on here with Solo and those guys. But also, I think, and part of this is because of, I know we'll get into it, but like knowing now what they did on Raw, like it I think it works very well, right? Because even though Jacob's crazy, the one thing he respects is this like bloodline
Yep.
process and thought and the way the
Yep.
rankings work, right? Like so yeah, he's crazy, he's a wild card, he's the werewolf, the small werewolf, but he lost.
Yep.
And now he acknowledges Roman and now he falls in line. And him with those three is very intriguing. Very, very intriguing. So they turned me on this a little bit because I was less like into this in the beginning, and now they've turned me on it. I just wasn't patient enough, I think.
um, would sorry. Was it seeing Solo in the crowd is what turned you on it?
I think like the idea that they're teasing that, but then also like that Jacob just falls in line and like right, like Jimmy and Jay gotta kind of call him in, and then he comes and like and then again like knowing what happens the next day on Raw helps as well because they're not doing this thing where he does what Solo did, which was like I'm not acknowledging you. Like Solo lost and he still didn't acknowledge him, right? Like, and I was a little worried, like, are they going to do that? Right. And is this not over? But they didn't. And that's good. So,
I
so yeah, like, and yeah, the teasing of what's going on because already too, like, Solo's down a guy. So now I'm like, where are they bringing a guy in? Right. Solo's only got himself and two other guys. Roman's got three other guys.
well, and we know where else this could go. First name
Exactly.
starts with a Z.
Right. So then, and that just really like ups what's going on. And I hope that it then turns that Solo is less of this like stupid, goofy, giggling, laughing, pseudo tribal chief. I hope they let it get a little bit more serious. Um, but I see this potentially running into, we were talking about it with Death Riders, but like I see this could turn into the potential for them to go back to a little bit of the heelish. They're going to be the loved heelish, but heelish bloodline that's really running through everything. You know, like I can see that happening, and that might start after they do whatever they're doing with Solo, if anything, right now at least. So, I think you could put them back into like kind of running things.
I was at the same point with you, but you know what line pulled me into this?
That's that.
When Roman pointed to Jay and Jimmy and said, "Look over there," and then he started to like do like an evil laugh after the match, and he said, "Don't worry, I got something for that mf'er," right? Like the fact that like he kind of like just the fact
Yeah.
of like you were like we were almost let into the oh Roman is back to being 5 steps ahead of everybody else now.
Hmm.
And you saw it again when they showed, which I thought this was weird that they showed it, but him and Cody crossing paths after the
Yes.
show behind stage. And
Yep.
and Cody didn't make eye contact with him. He just kind of like side-eyed him, standing right in front of him. Roman was smirking the whole entire time. And then they kind of just walked away.
Yep.
And then Roman coming out there and saying they made this title in spite of me because I had every other title.
Right.
And that's kind of like, are we getting bad guy Roman now? Are we getting the one that goes back to I show up, I smash you, and then I leave? I collect
Hmm.
my checks? Like, are we getting the black and gold? Like, I'm just going to destroy you now?
We might.
Because it's like, and if they need a fifth, technically Zilla is related to Jacob. You put Zilla on that team, you put Jacob and Zilla with Roman as 2 guard dogs.
Yeah.
Um, but here's a top take for you, Dan. I've been
Okay.
spinning the wheels on this all morning. Do you remember what R- Roman told the Jay last night on Raw?
The J, I don't remember that.
There's always 2 heads of the table.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So my first thought was he didn't let Jimmy go out there. So if Jay does fail and not win King of the Ring, do they isolate Jay? Jay ends up with Solo's group, or Jay ends up isolated again on the outside, or does this start to piss Jimmy off that he's not seen as the second head of the table? And then we get an internal brother versus brother feud going. Jimmy jumps ship, goes to Solo, gives them 4, which would leave the opening for Jacob to bring in Zilla.
Yeah.
Because it felt too calculated for him to make that comment, right? Because how much merchandise over the last 7 years have said head of the table, or he's called himself the head of the table, specifically the head of the table. So now all of a sudden he's okay with welcoming Jay in as a second head of the table. But then before that was the issue that he had with Solo when him and Solo were going at it. He kept calling himself the original head of the table.
Right.
So like that stuff felt too calculated. I don't know. Yeah, like I really don't know. Like I don't know. I just um and just to move on for the bloodline stuff cuz I could talk that for hours. Are we okay with how Seth and Braun has ended on a random Monday Night Raw?
I mean,
It's probably due to the injuries, right? Like cuz they're going to need Braun for tag team activity now because Logan Paul
probably, but
tore his triceps, but at the same point,
yeah,
you're telling me the Vision couldn't go get anybody else? They just brought up Ethan Page. Does he not fit that? You're
yeah,
telling me you
he
put
would, he could.
Paul Heyman with Ethan Page? That's $1 billion right there. It's a
Right.
$1 billion.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, no, it's not very satisfying, but I think like they probably are abandoning it because of all the injuries.
Do you think they dropped the tag titles to the Street Profits?
Yeah,
See, I
for
don't.
sure.
I think they're building Montez for something here. Would it catch you off guard if he was the one to join the Vision?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, to a degree.
Would you hate it?
No, I wouldn't hate it, but
I don't. Yeah, I don't think I would
I
hate
could
it
see
either.
it.
Because it just feels like they're slowly building something with him. Because once again, it was not his brother, and I know his brother got beat up last time, but like his brother's not on the IR. He just got beat up. So you're telling me he couldn't show up to get payback? Do you know what I mean? Like he's not hurt. They didn't say he's out for a period of time. But like once again, it's Montez coming in with the save. And honest to God, I've never been able to see anyone jump over or ring post like that in my life. He did it again, Dan.
No.
Did it
Yeah, I
again.
know.
Cleared it by at
I
least
know.
7 feet.
He's so good.
Do you think
So
they
good
just
with
like put
that.
up a pad outside in the performance center and say, okay, go do it? Like, do you think they have him
Probably.
practice it?
Probably.
It's just every time it feels like he gets higher and higher on his extension through that. It's insane. Insane. Um, and how'd you feel about Oba coming out, smashing everybody, then doing his pose, then getting back to smashing everybody?
I mean, little those are like the little details that always like annoy me, but
Yeah,
you know, okay. You know,
right. I don't like. I don't think I would have came out and had him do his pose if he's that pissed off that he got beat by Brock. I would have just had him show up, take every punch he could, stay on his feet, just steamroll everybody, say I'm on to the second round, then cut your promo on Brock. But now you come out there, do your pose after you just got beat by the beast incarnate that you're supposed to be able to steamroll. Do you think
yep.
so? Yeah, let's jump to King of the Ring then, because that was pretty much it. Besides Io winning her Queen match, um, Oba beat Pento, Solo, and Carmelo, and then I guess the next A bracket is Dominic, Braun, Trick, and Damien. That hasn't happened yet, I don't think.
No.
And then we still have Seth versus Javon versus Tala Tonga and Ricky Saints. This is a conversation for a different day, but Ricky Saints has looked terrible since he's gotten called up. He's
Yep.
looked awful.
I don't know what happened.
Awful. He looked
We know
awful.
he's better than that.
A lot better, but he's looked awful.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know what's going on there.
and I don't know if you saw Finn Balor got traded to SmackDown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we're getting Jay versus LA Knight versus Royce Keys versus Finn. I guess so. out of the A and B brackets, what do you think that is? Like, who do you think comes out of there? And do you think these dwindle down to like a triple threat match then, or do you think they stay
I think it's
four
going
way
to
until
end
the
in a
finals?
one-on-one.
Yeah, I think
I
so
guess I
too.
could be
But
wrong. I think it's going to.
the final will probably be that, right? But then let me see if they have it up. Up. Oh no, so that's the women's. All right, so it looks like these four. So we got Oba there. Oh, so now we go to a one-on-one match. It looks like. Yeah, let
Right
me
out
see.
of the fatal four ways.
Yeah. Uh, can you
Yep.
see that then? All right. So we got
Yep.
Oba going there. I guess who do you think takes this? So
Mm,
you're telling me we're getting Oba and Braun in the second round?
I think we are. Yeah. I think we are either Braun or Mysterio, I bet.
And then if it's Oba and
On
Braun,
the other side,
who walks away from that? It has to be Oba.
has to be Ova. It has to be. Unless they want to give it to Braun. No, it can't be Braun. It can't be Braun.
No, unless they do a thing where like the Vision attack Oba, and he's technically out for the rest of the tournament. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's like they write him off for the length of the tournament for a bit, and then he could still come back and fight Brock. But
My pick on the whole bracket is maybe Royce Keys, actually.
I I thought about that and I hated it.
I think that might be part of the reason I think they would do it because I don't think they'll do it right. But like I kind of see something funky happening and Ricky Saints winning his fatal four way, Royce winning his and then beating Saints. And
Over
then
Rollins?
well, yeah, because it's easy enough to
Yeah, it is
it's
easier to
easy
write. Yeah.
it's easy to write in a fatal four way that you know, Saints could win on a fluke. You know, like Rollins won't even be in the ring when the pin is made. Because it is a weird pairing. Those four, like Rollins, Evans, Tonga, and Saints, like
Yeah.
so weird. Um, I mean, and honestly, the next one is weird too because then you have Uso, you have Jay, LA Knight, Balor, and then Royce Keys. Like, it's like who doesn't fit here? You know. Um, But my problem then becomes who is he facing? So Femi, oh, you know what's gonna happen? Doesn't matter who comes out against in the four way that goes to up against Femi. Brock is gonna screw it up for him. Lesnar's gonna show up, F5 him 10 times, and whoever wins the Mysterio Breaker trick Priest four way is gonna win against Femi. And then that's just going to play right into SummerSlam.
I
That's how you
was
get Femi out of it,
yeah.
right? So Lesnar screws it up for Femi. So it could be anyone out of these. It could be, I'm thinking it's going to be Breaker or Mysterio. Oh, I don't know. If I think Royce Keys is going to win, who comes out of there to face Femi and win by having Brock be involved?
If
Oh, they might put Ray there. I'm Ray Dominic
Dominic?
there. and let Dominic take the loss to this guy. I don't know. I don't know if they let Breaker lose to him. So
I was
if
thinking
I'm
it.
thinking that
Yeah,
Keys ends up winning it, then yeah,
I was thinking that if it is Breaker, I think Paul does something to where Brock's music just starts playing, but he's not there, and it's like just a distraction enough for like Braun to hit Obo with a spear, and then get him up for the jackhammer, and then hit him with a spear again or something. Or I do really think like the Vision attack him before the show, and he's out for like the length of the tournament, so it's not an issue. Um, so I was in. I thought Royce Keys had a legitimate shot to win once they announced the tournament, but then when I heard
yeah.
Finn got traded to SmackDown today, I was like, oh, maybe this is the start of a Finn push. But my thing is then, does this mean we were right when if Jay gets beat, is this the start of the isolation on Jay from the bloodline? Because if he can't get out of the first round,
Mm, that's a good point too.
do you know what I mean? Like, is it like, which it's also hysterical that I don't know if you caught the LA Knight Adam Pierce backstage thing, but Pierce went like this to point at Knight, and then LA took his hand and put it in the air and said, "You disgust me," and walked away. Like like Pierce was actually doing the bloodline ones. So that's
Yeah.
hysterical to me. Um my original pick for these brackets, I had Rollins, Keys, Oba, and Brock. Or sorry, not Brock, Braun. And that's how I imagined Seth and Braun ending. I thought that's the way that like when they said they were gonna do like a King of Ring tournament, I thought, okay, that would make sense if they both get to the finals. They put on a hell of a match. Seth goes over on Braun. So he's basically taken everything Braun wants because Braun wants a belt and he can't get it.
Right.
Like, but I would not be surprised if you were correct and they let Royce Keys in there.
Yeah,
But
I could just see it. I could just see it.
if Oba gets to the finals, do you think Brock screws him up in the finals instead
Yeah,
of?
I think Brock. Oh, that's a way you could do it too. Is Ova goes to the finals and Brock screws it up.
But then,
Yes, I think one way or another Brock screws it up for Ova somewhere along the line.
do you not think Braun gets out of his group then? Because
I
if he's technically hurt, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get replaced.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Right?
I don't.
Like,
I'm not sure he will get out of it.
so it's interesting. Oh, that fell. Yeah. So, all right. So, who's your pick on the finals, Dan? Keys and
I think actually now I'm changing it to. I think it's gonna. No, see, definitely I am gonna stick with Royce Keys.
okay,
On the other side, I'm gonna go with Dominic. I think
okay,
Brock is gonna screw it up in the next round.
okay,
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think they're gonna have Keys win it because of Brock screwing over Femi. So I'm gonna say that Dominic comes out of his group somehow, and then Brock screws over Femi in the next match, and then Dominic goes on and ends up losing clean to Keys.
okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Queen of the Ring now, which Did you see how confused Liv looked when she saw herself on the screen?
Yeah,
She looked into the camera like this.
yeah,
Like nobody told her beforehand she was in the tournament.
right.
Which does this make sense to you to have her in there?
I mean, I think they're just for whatever reason they're not calling people enough people up, so they're just throwing everyone in that they have on the main roster.
Once again,
I mean,
why
there's no NXT people in either of these, right?
um no, because
Yeah,
JC Jane is called up, yeah.
right. So,
Why does that not go to Jordan Grace right there?
right. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
These are some weird category, like weird pair ups too. Like, I mean, Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, and then Chelsea Green. Like, like,
You could possibly
what are we
get a
doing?
Judgment Day final here.
Yeah,
You could get a semifinal and a final. If
yeah.
Roxanne wins and Raquel wins, you get them two for the semifinal. And then you get Liv winning her group all the way. Um, who's your pick on the first group?
Which one are you considering the first group?
Sorry, which is your pick on the Becky group?
Um, I'm gonna go. Actually, I am gonna go with. Uh, I'm gonna go with Becky.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, and in Flair's group,
So what I think's gonna happen there is Flair and Cargo are gonna end up like focusing on each other, and then in a way, and so like they'll be taken out of it as far as like the winners. And then I think it's weird that they're gonna do this right after, well, potentially, but like it's weird to me that Solruka is in this like this after just getting the big win. But I'm trying to choose between Solruka and Valkyria. Um, my gut was saying Valkyria originally, and now I'm like, oh, but does that make sense with Solruka? Yeah, because again, you just it's a fatal four way. You can write it however you want. It's not going to hurt anyone. I'm going to take Valkyria here.
yeah. Um, I agree. I like that because I think because then if you get Valkyria there and she gets to the finals, you could get a Valkyria versus Bailey, and that breaks up that tag team.
Yep,
Where do you think on the Roxanne side? Well, so then technically Julia can't be done because she's here, right? No,
she's here.
no, sorry, because EO already
Oh yeah, yeah.
won that round, so that's EO.
So
So
that's Io. So then Bailey Rodriguez, Jane. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to go Bailey. I actually do think they're going to do that.
so then EO and Bailey, who do you got?
I actually I like what you just said. I think I'm going to go Bailey on that too. I
Yeah.
think she's going to squeak out a win there, and it's going to be one of those like respectful wins. Like they're going to hug afterwards, and yeah.
Um, Becky or
I'm
Lyra?
going to go
Lyra.
Lyra.
So then it's Lyra
Yep.
versus Bailey for the final.
Yeah, I like that.
Um, do you think we see any of them go heel?
Um, no, probably not.
Yeah, I don't want to see a Bailey heel turn, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. Um, On a scale of 1 to 5, what's your interest in the King or Queen of the Ring?
Like a two.
Yeah.
Like if they give me some good matches and some intriguing story out of it, okay, great. But I'm
Otherwise,
not
yeah, agreed.
I'm
Yep.
not expecting that.
No, I 100% agreed. I think it's yeah. I think that's kind of what I'm at with it too. It just it's like it's not that it doesn't make sense. Um, but I don't know. And I feel a few of these batches, if they go against the grain on who we expect to win, doesn't win, and then those people have to go on to the next round. I feel like that could really present some holes in the card to make the show feel terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't want to see Lash Legend versus JC Jane.
No.
Right? Like I don't want to see Jade versus Bliss. Like what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like yeah, it's
Right.
interesting. It is interesting, but we'll have to see how that goes and plays out. It's a cool thing that they add to the shows. I just hope it's done correctly so that there's no blowback on it. Um, I guess, and that's pretty much been everything, right, Dan? Like, has there been anything else
Yeah.
you think we missed? Um,
Well, I mean, we got a little, I guess, outside of wrestling news with lawsuits and
yeah,
stuff like that. Other than that, though, we're caught up on wrestling, actually.
yeah. And I guess I just sent you this, which is funny. Our boy Brandon Thurston. The question is, how much money is potentially at stake in the WWE lawsuit over the TKA merger? The plaintiff's expert report formulates between 466 million to 957 million. The high end of their range seems to go further, but is redacted in the public filing. So over $1 billion is at stake. It's
Wild.
wild, man. It's wild. I don't know what's gonna come from that. It's gonna be good to follow. um Tomorrow night being the start of the NBA finals, tune into AEW just to give it some views, see how it goes. I'm sure we'll have a Triple H soon again on YouTube. If not, go back and watch that. That was great. And it's free and it's on YouTube. You can pull it up on TV and just go. Um
Or Netflix now.
yeah,
At least the one
yeah.
match on
That's
Netflix.
that's a great point. Thank you. Yeah, that's a great point. Trying to think. TNA has been solid, but it's not on the same levels of what WWE and AAA and AEW's been doing. But that's still fun to watch. I mean, we've said it before. It feels like a different time when all these companies are hitting, and right now they're hitting. So let's hope it continues as long as it possibly can, and
Yeah.
we'll go from there. Bloodline and all. So until then, until next week, I believe, or the week after, based on what goes on wrestling wise, we'll be back with another Batch Wrestling podcast. Botch Wrestling Pod on Twitter and on Instagram, and this episode will be up tomorrow. So please like, comment, subscribe. It helps us get out of the terrible algorithm that YouTube puts the wrestling podcast on. And TKO stop taking down everybody's strike material. They're actually doing you free advertisement. So until then, adios, folks.